What's that?
If I'm not mistaken, it's a bumblebee, and he's guarding the hive.
Oh, what's a bumblebee? Out of my way, ruffian.
You better mind your own business.
I am. Honey is my business.
Excuse me for the slight intrusion. You'd better mind your P's and Q's and stay away from bumblebees and listen to a bit of reason.
No mere bee's going to stop me. Honey, here I come. Oh, ow. He got me. That's right, laugh. Oh, somebody get me a mud puddle quick. And as for you, you rhyming rabbit, don't stand there grinning. I suppose you're going to say I told you so. Well, what do you got to say for yourself, Smarty?
You should always let the bumblebee be. You'll never win its friendship, no siree. You may hobnob with a gadfly, though he's more or less a bad fly, but you'd better let the bumblebee be. You can dawdle with a doodlebug or flea. Katy did his charming company. You can visit with a cricket or a cockroach in a thicket, but you'd better let the bumblebee be. Just take a bit of sound advice from me and keep away from his vicinity. You may think you'd have a keen time, but he'd sting you in the meantime, so you'd better let the bumblebee be. Ouch! You'd better let the bumblebee be.
What a shame. That bumblebee stung the rabbit, and he wasn't doing a thing either.
Water, water, pour on water. He got me where he hadn't oughter. Never trust a bumblebee, 'cause he'll sting you like he stung me.
He's running away. It serves him right. He laughed when I got stung, didn't he?
But he was going to show us how to get back through the picture frame. What to do now? What to do?
I know. The whistle. The one the giant gave me.
Giant? Oh, I don't like that one little bit. Sounds bad.
Oh, but Fifo's a gentle giant, and he was very nice to us.
Sure. And he gave me this little whistle and said if we ever needed help, just to blow on it 3 times and he'd come a-running.
I'm sure Fifo can help us. Blow the whistle quick, Jimmy.
Okay.
Oh, goodness, Jimmy. That's not loud enough for anyone to hear. Better let me try it. I'm good at wood instruments, you know. Played the tuba in college.
All right, Crazy Quilt. Here it is.
Ah, now watch the old maestro. I place the instrument thus. Inhale. And...
What happened?
Gee willikers. He swallowed the whistle.
Out of the frying pan into the fire. It seems that our friends will never quite get out of trouble. And what's more important, how will they ever get out of the magic forest now that Crazy Quilt has swallowed the whistle? Well, maybe we'll find out next time. So be sure to listen, won't you? Judy and Jimmy and the Cinnamon Bear were in a pretty pickle when we saw them last. They found the Crazy Quilt Dragon all right, but he'd been thrown into a short trance, as he called it, by the Wintergreen Witch, who made off with the Silver Star. So there was nothing to do but to try and find her. But what do you think? Nobody knew how to get out of the magic forest and back into the witch's house. Then Jimmy remembered the little whistle which Fifo, the gentle giant, had given him, with instructions to blow it 3 times if help was needed. But Jimmy couldn't blow it loud enough, so Crazy Quilt volunteered for the job and took such a deep breath that he swallowed it. And as Jimmy says,
This is the limit. What'd you have to go and swallow the whistle for?
couldn't help it. Slip.
Oh, dear. Now we'll just have to walk, and maybe we'll never be able to get out of this old forest.
What's the matter, Crazy Quilt? He's got the hiccups. And every time he hiccups, it blows the whistle. Quick, Crazy Quilt, do it again. That's swell. You blew it 3 times.
Good. Maybe Fifo will come to our rescue.
Bless my stuffing, I can hear him now.
That's enough, Crazy Quilt. FIFO hurt you.
Can't stop. It just keeps...
Here I am, my little friends. Just as I said I'd be. Oh, but my gracious, you don't have to blow the whistle so many times.
We're not doing it on purpose, FIFO. The crazy quilt dragon's got it caught in his throat.
And every time he hiccups,
It whistles.
Well. Ho, 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 ho. I'll fix that. Just a pat on the back.
There it is.
Oh, what an ordeal. Why does everything happen to me?
Because you're always sticking your crazy quilt nose in somebody else's business, that's why.
So this is the crazy quilt dragon you were looking for. And did he give you back your silver star?
no, he didn't, FIFO, because the Wintergreen Witch did something magic to him and made him bring it to her.
Crazy Quilt says she's a terrible old witch. Does she scare you, FIFO?
It all depends on what color she is.
That's right. Didn't you say she changed colors, Crazy Quilt?
Definitely. And you didn't believe me, Smarty. She changed from green to purple to red.
Oh, that's bad. When she's all right, she stays green. But when she gets a notion to practice magic, she goes all sorts of colors.
Well, no matter what color she gets, we've got to find her.
Yes, and that's why we called for you, FIFO. We thought maybe you'd be real nice and take us back to the place where we came through the picture frame. We don't know which way to go.
I'd be glad to. Only I'm sorry to see you leave the magic forest. It's awful lonesome here. Maybe you can come back and see me again, huh?
Willikers, I don't see how we can, FIFO, on account of we've got to get our star and get back home before Christmas.
Oh, well, maybe someday you can. All right, everybody. I'll put the dragon on my left shoulder and the rest of you on my right. Up you go.
We're way up in the air again.
My, this is something new for me. My, you are a whopper of a giant, FIFO. Simply a whopper.
Hold tight. Here we go. Here we are, folks. End of the trip.
What, so soon?
Sure. FIFO's no slowpoke. Only takes a few of his big steps to get you someplace in a hurry.
All right, now. Down you go.
Gee, we're right where we came in, too. I can see right through the trees into the Wintergreen Witch's house. Sure enough. There's a fireplace and all the pots in front of it.
Well, my friends, I wish I were small enough to go through the picture frame with you, but that's impossible. So I'll just have to say goodbye and good luck.
Goodbye, FIFO. We'll never, never forget you.
You bet. And thanks a million.
Goodbye, and I hope the witch stays green.
Goodbye,
Bye,
FIFO.
Little Giant.
All right, now, steal yourselves, everybody, and through the picture frame. Okay, Cinnamon Bear, here I go.
And me.
And reluctantly, I.
The room is empty. Not a soul here.
Splendid, splendid. Oh,
The
Wintergreen Witch.
Right, my pretty dears, right. Thought I wasn't here, eh? Hold my hand, Jimmy.
Excuse me, but I just remembered I left the water running in the bathtub. I'll see you later.
Me too. Come on, children. Out the door. It closed itself.
Hurry, back through the picture frame.
Oh, it's nothing but a flat painted picture now.
Oh, trapped, doomed. This is the end.
Jiminy crickets. Look at the witch. She's changing colors.
Green and blue and purple and red. Sit down, my dainties. Sit down and make yourselves comfortable, because you'll be here a long time. A long, long time. What are you going to do, Mrs. Witch? You'll find out. And don't call me Mrs. Witch. Please, Mrs. Wintergreen, give us our silver star and let us go.
Yes, please give it back. We've come an awful long ways to get it.
And after all, madam, what does a wonderful sorceress with your great power want with a paltry Christmas tree ornament?
I want it for my magic forest. That's something I've never had before. I'm going to hang it in the sky over the Black Lake.
Well, if we can't have the star, would you mind if we just sort of moseyed along?
No, you don't. I have other plans, my pretties. Other plans.
Well, I
outside.
Now I'll close the door. And mumbo jumbo, hubba dubba ooh. Now I open the door again.
Gee willikers, look! It's raining cats and dogs.
There. You've heard of it raining cats and dogs, haven't you?
Yes, Mrs. Wintergreen.
Now you've not only heard but seen it. Do you still think the Wintergreen Witch can magic things?
Oh, no. You're truly wonderful. But won't you please let us go?
Yes, pretty please. We haven't done anything to you.
No, but I'm going to do something to you.
Oh.
There are several things I need around the house or in the magic forest, and you pretties have come just at the right moment. First, I think I'll change you twins into white mice.
Oh, please don't. Not mice. I don't like them at all.
And this crazy quilt dragon will look beautiful after I've changed him into a pincushion.
Oh, Agatha.
And as for this funny little bear, he'll make a lovely doormat with welcome on his tummy.
Oh, me poor stuffings.
Now be quiet while I prepare my magic.
Jimmy, if we only had something to make her forget about us and the Silver Star. Have you got anything she might like?
Gee, I don't think she'd like my knife, and my swell wristwatch is home in my bureau drawer.
I've got it. Maybe she'd like my little looking glass. Mrs. Wintergreen,
Yes, my pretty dear.
I have something much nicer than the Silver Star for you, and it's ever so much shinier. Look.
Ah! Take it away. Take it away. Don't you know witches can't stand to see their own faces? Take it away.
What a break. Keep on showing it to her, Judy.
No. Take it away. I'll do anything you ask. Anything.
All right. First, you've got to let us go.
And promise not to do anything to us after we leave.
Oh, yes. But take that dreadful looking glass with you.
And you've got to give us back our silver star.
Oh, even that. Here.
Oh, Jimmy, at last we've got it back. Open the door, witch, and make it snappy.
And fool for you, Mrs. Wintergreen. Come along, children.
Isn't it swell, Judy? We've got the star and everything.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, but we can't stop to admire it now. We got to rush right down to the shore and get back across the root beer ocean. Come on, hurry, everybody.
Do you think you can swim us all the way back, Crazy Quilt?
Absolutely. I'm plenty full of corks to manage it. Climb aboard.
I think I'd better carry the star. But suppose a wave washes it away, or another whale swallows it.
Pardon the suggestion, but I've an ideal place for it. My hind pocket, the one under that big orange patch. It's waterproof and has a zipper.
Okay, Crazy Quilt. Unzip.
With pleasure. And in it goes. Zip again. And safe and sound. And hold on, my friends, for it's cheerio and into the root beer ocean.
You sure made good time, Crazy Quilt. Here we are back on the Maybeland mainland. I can hardly believe it.
We're ever so grateful, Crazy
Oh,
Quilt.
not at all. But now that we're all hunky-dory, I must ask you to excuse me while I sit down and rest a bit from my strenuous swim.
Sure. You got it coming to you, all right.
Uh-huh. I think this would be a lovely spot right here in the lee of this rock. There. Now I'll just lean back and,
What was that?
Oh, I fear Oh, my friends. Oh, I'm blushing red. Well, behold the star.
Willikers, it's busted.
In a dozen pieces.
And that's what I call very, very bad luck. After all the perilous adventures our friends have been through in order to recapture their silver star, this is really a blow. A lost star is bad enough, but a broken one is terrible. Just the same, I'll be with you next time to see what they're going to do about it. guess we're all pretty anxious to hear about Judy and Jimmy and their friends Cinnamon Bear and Crazy Quilt Dragon. For a while, it looked very much like the Wintergreen Witch was going to change them into a pincushion, a doormat, and 2 white mice. But they got away, and what was even nicer, got their precious silver star. The Crazy Quilt Dragon tucked it into his hind pocket for safekeeping, and they all climbed on his back and swam away from the island of Opie. But when they reached the mainland, the worst thing in the world happened. Crazy Quilt sat down to rest and broke the silver star into a dozen pieces. That's very, very bad, and you can just imagine what Judy has to say.
Oh, dear. We might just as well never have found the silver star as to have it broken. Gee willikers, yes. Especially after all the things we did to get it back.
If you had to sit down, Crazy Quilt, why pick a rock to sit on?
Oh, I am abject. I'm speechless, but I beg you to realize that my mistake was unintentional.
Well, we know you didn't mean to do it. But gee, Crazy Quilt, could you have used your head a little bit?
Well,
Don't go picking on poor Crazy Quilt. Of course he didn't mean to break the star, but making him feel bad isn't going to do any good. Oh, dear. We might just as well have Patty Cinnamon take us back to the attic again.
Yeah, I guess so.
Goodbye, Crazy Quilt. Thanks anyway for saving us from the Inkaboos and carrying us across the root beer ocean.
Yes, thanks for that, Crazy Quilt. You're a good dragon at heart.
How are we going to get back to the attic, Cinnamon Bear? The airplane is still at the bottom of Looking Glass Valley.
Maybe when Crazy Quilt is rested a little, he'll carry us a piece.
Oh, gladly. Anything to help atone for my frightful carelessness. Anything to... Wait.
What is it, Crazy Quilt? Have you got a pain?
Hey, no, I've a plan.
That's generally the same thing with you.
There's something that might be done yet.
Sure, you've done everything that can be done, Crazy Quilt. You and your nonsense.
Just a minute, my feisty friend in the fur pajamas. Let me say my say.
Very well. What's on your alleged mind?
Why don't we go and see Melissa?
Splendid! Now, why didn't I think of that?
Who's Melissa?
Haven't you heard of her? Why, she's our queen, the ruler of Maybeland.
What could she do?
What can't she do, you mean? She's wonderful, so kind and generous. Everybody loves her.
That's swell. But what could she do about the silver star?
Anything, everything. She has wonderful powers. Nothing is impossible to her. Why, do you know once upon a time, I had the great misfortune to fall into a lemonade wishing well, and all my beautiful colors ran together.
I'd sure like to have seen you then.
I shall overlook your remark. Oh, I was a mess. I thought surely I'd never be able to hold up my head in society. But I went to Melissa, and she restored me to my natural beauty and splendor.
She certainly has a marvelous reputation, all right. I've always intended to go to court sometime and see her for myself, but I never quite got around to it.
Oh, goody. Maybe she can help us. Where does Melissa live?
Oh, she lives in her palace in the capital of Maybeland. That's capital M. A bit southish of the Lollipop Mountains, right in the middle of Marshmallow Meadows.
Maybe she'll know some way to have the star all put together again.
I'm sure she will. Will you take us there, Crazy Quilt?
Certainly. I'm quite as good on land as on water.
Everybody help me pick up the pieces of the star. Jimmy, let me have your hanky. It's bigger than mine.
Okay. Here it is.
Ah, here are some pieces.
Yeah, and here are some more.
I think Jimmy and I have all the rest. Hold out your hanky, Jimmy.
Okay.
There.
All right, now, let's get started. Climb on, everybody.
Up you go, Judy. Up, Jimmy. Well, we're on. Outdo yourself, Crazy Quilt. Gallop of you's never galloped before.
This is the anteroom to the Queen's audience chamber. We'll have to wait here until time for us to see the Grand Wonky.
My goodness. How many more do we have to see before we get to see Melissa?
Yes, I never saw so many, whatchamacallums?
Secretaries.
Yes, things like that.
Oh, but you must remember, this is a royal court. You have to expect such things. After all, Melissa is the Queen, and she's much too busy to bother with people unless they have really important business with her.
Who'd you say we had to see now?
The Grand Wonky. He's sort of head of all the ceremonies and presents everybody to Melissa.
I wish he'd hurry. My stuffing's getting very tired.
Oh, I don't mind waiting so much. It's so beautiful. I like to look down that big staircase and see all the people passing up and down.
Oh, here you are, here you are. So sorry to keep you waiting, but you know how it is, so much business.
Dear, 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 dear. Oh, you're not in court costume.
What's that?
It's what you wear when you come to see Melissa.
Well, never mind. It can't be helped now. I'll ask her to overlook the attire, inasmuch as you are unacquainted with court etiquette.
What does he mean?
He means that he's going to ask Melissa to skip it.
Oh, dear. Now, let's see how we'll rearrange this. You're the crazy quill dragon, are you not? I'm sure I've seen you before. I'm very good at remembering places. I mean faces. That's my job. Now, where were we? Awfully nice of you to drop in and all that. Must come again sometime.
I'm Judy. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm the cinnamon bear.
That's us, and we're very anxious to see Melissa. Is there anything special we have to do?
Oh, dear, yes. The bow, you know, the bow. So.
I feel awfully silly doing that.
You don't have to. Just be polite, and that's all that's necessary.
And of course, I must announce you. Now let's see. What formation would look best? Let me see. The little girl first. Yes. Then I think the boy slightly behind her with the bear. Then the crazy quill dragon bringing up the rear guard.
Bringing up what? Does he have to carry something?
No. He's to stand behind you.
Well, why didn't you say that in the first place?
I dislike hurrying you, Grand Wonky, but our time is short and our business very important. Now, you just sort of forget a few formalities and announce us to Her Majesty like a good Wonky.
Now, I think everything is in order. Do you mind if I adjust your green bow, little bear?
I thank you to keep your hands off me bow, and my name is Patio Cinnamon, if you please.
Yes, of course. Now, I think we may enter now.
It's about time.
Ouvrez la porte!
What's that mean? That, ouvre, well, what you just said.
Well, that's French for open the door.
Well, why didn't you just say open the door instead of that French stuff?
Because this happens to be a French door and won't open unless you speak French. So there. Ouvrez la porte! My, those hinges need oiling dreadfully. Must make a note about that. See about oil for hinges. Now, are we all hunky-bunky?
Yes, Wonky.
Deadly, the fanfare. Oh, thank you, Dudley. That's lovely. Thank you. And now, friends, you may enter the presence of Queen Melissa of Maryland.
Ooh. Oh, my goodness. Isn't she beautiful, Jimmy?
You bet. Why, she's nearly as pretty as Mother, I'd say.
Look at her throne. It's all shiny.
All gold, children. 18-karat solid gold.
It looks like there's something shiny all about her, too. It must be more magic.
It is. That protects her from anything touching her. Nothing could get close enough to hurt her.
I sure never saw anything like this before.
Will you please come closer?
Her Majesty desires you to approach. Be sure you don't go too close, however. Your Majesty, may I present Miss Judy?
How do you do?
Fine, thanks, but we...
Mr. Jimmy.
I'm so happy to see you.
And we're glad to see you.
And this is...
The crazy quilt dragon, of course. How are you?
Oh, very well, Your Majesty. Thank you.
And last but not least...
Well, who is this fuzzy little person with the green ribbon round his neck? Who are you, little friend?
I'm the cinnamon bear with the shoe button eyes, and I'm helping these children recover a prize. It's a silvery star that was fashioned, you see, for the very tip-top of a big Christmas tree. Though we've hunted low and we've hunted high, we cannot get it back, no matter how we try. A most crazy quilt dragon made off with it first, then a whale ate it up, but that isn't the worst. Oh, it's been through 100 adventures since then. We just lose it and find it and lose it again. So we've looked and looked till we're almost through. And if you'll help us out, we're much obliged to you.
So you see, Your Majesty?
Call me Melissa, won't you? We're all going to be friends, and friends shouldn't be too formal.
That suits me. All this wonky business about bowing and everything.
I know how you feel, Jimmy,
But I must give the Grand Wonky something to do. He'd feel very unhappy otherwise.
Well, you see, Melissa, the Cinnamon Bear told you part about what happened to our lovely Silver Star, but lots of things happened to it after that.
And the last thing was, the Wintergreen Witch cast a spell on me and forced me to steal the star and take it to her.
The Wintergreen Witch? Grand Wonky, make a note that I must take up the case of the Wintergreen Witch at my next council meeting. She's been practicing magic without a license.
Oh, dear me, yes, Your Majesty. Fix witch. Good and proper.
She was going to change us into things. Then I showed her a looking glass, and she got awful scared and let us go.
And Crazy Quill took us across the root beer ocean,
But he sat down on the star and broke it into a dozen pieces.
So we thought maybe you could help us get it fixed.
Of course I can help you.
You can? Oh, that's wonderful.
Now you just listen very carefully to everything I say, and your Silver Star will be restored.
Well, that's quite the best news Judy and Jimmy have had since they started out on their adventurous trip through Maybeland. Let's be sure to listen next time and find out how Queen Melissa plans to get the broken Silver Star back into one piece. When we left Judy and Jimmy and the Cinnamon Bear last time, they were in high spirits, and for a very good reason, too. You'll remember that after the Crazy Quilt Dragon sat on the Silver Star and broke it into a dozen pieces, they decided to visit Melissa, the beautiful queen of Babyland, to see if she could help them. And sure enough, after the Grand Wonky presented them to Queen Melissa, she told them the Silver Star could be restored to one piece if they'd listen carefully to everything she said. And I, for one, am going to listen very carefully because this is most interesting.
You mean you can fix it so our Silver Star will be all together again and won't be broken like it is now?
That's exactly what I mean, Judy.
Jiminy Crickets. And we would be able to put it on our Christmas tree just like we used to?
On the very tip-top, Jimmy, and no one will ever know it was the very least bit broken.
Oh, that'll be wonderful.
Now, I will have to write a few simple instructions for you to follow. Grand Wonky, will you please get me my magic ink?
Yes, Your Majesty.
We're awfully grateful, Melissa. We were just about to give up and go home.
You bet. And after all the things we did to get the star, too.
Here's the magic ink, Your Majesty.
Thank you, Grand Wonky. And now I will write down the instructions for you to follow. There. Now, I've put the instructions inside this envelope, Jimmy, and you must follow them exactly.
Oh, goody. Let's see what we have to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judy, but you mustn't open it here.
Well, why?
Because that would keep the magic from working. You see, restoring the Silver Star is going to take a special kind of magic. If it had been made in Maybeland, it would be simple, but unfortunately, it was made in the world. And that's another matter. It will need quite a little extra work.
Will it be hard to do?
No, not hard, but you must do exactly as they say. And unfortunately, you can only read these instructions in total darkness.
But, Your Majesty, where can we find this absolute darkness?
Ah, that is a part of the magic that you must do for yourselves. But don't worry, friends. I know it will work out all right.
Gee, Melissa, I don't know how we'll ever be able to thank you.
It'll just make Christmas perfect, Melissa.
Allow me to express my deepest thanks, Melissa, for past favors and present courtesy. I bow.
I'm not fancy, Melissa, but I'm much obliged to you.
And you are all quite welcome, dear friends. I hope you will visit me again after the Silver Star has been restored to its original beauty.
We'd sure like to, all right, Melissa.
Then do so. And now, Grand Wonky, would you please set our friends on their way? I would be happy to entertain you in my palace for a while, but I know you're anxious to see your star mended and safe.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks so much, but we do have to hurry, kind of.
Yes, we've got to get it back before Christmas.
Well, goodbye then, and good luck.
Goodbye, Your Majesty.
Will you please follow me, single file, if you please, in the order in which you came in.
By the way, Wonky, old thing, could you drop us some slight hint as to where we might find this absolute darkness of which Melissa spoke?
I couldn't hint. It's ever so rude. But my duties as Grand Monkey to Melissa's court keep me quite confined. I don't know a great deal about the country of Maryland at all, I'm sorry to say.
Dear.
But I have heard. Now, mark you, this is only a rumor. I cannot verify it in any way. I have heard that the Wishing Woods are very dark. Extremely dark, in fact.
Do you happen to know the way to the Wishing Wood?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm happy to say. I got a good many travel folders on it before I went on my vacation. But Mrs. Wonky decided she'd rather go to the root beer seashore. And such a lovely time we had, too. Took a small cottage.
Yes.
Now, where was I?
You were going to tell us how to get to the Wishing Wood.
Oh, yes, so I was. Well, it won't take you very long, not at all. They're directly north of the Marshmallow Meadows as the crow doesn't fly.
Thanks, Wonky. Much obliged for the assistance.
No, don't ever mention it. Just pop along down the marble staircase and straight ahead and... Dear. Almost forgot something. Here, this box is for you to take along with you.
What's in it, Wonky? Some more magic?
Oh, you'll find out when the time comes. And, here's the door. I must see about oiling those hinges, mustn't I? Such a racket to make. Well, I've got to be zipping now. Charming of you to drop in. Dudley, fetch the oil pan, my good fellow.
What a character. You'd never know he was around.
I thought he was sort of sweet, Crazy Quill.
Just a windbag, that's all. Well, we better get started, hadn't we?
You bet. The sooner we get where we can read those magical instructions, the better I'll like it. Come on, everybody. Let's find the Wishing Woods. I wonder if this is the Wishing Woods.
Oh, I'm sure it is. There's a sign over there that says Wishing Wood.
Oh, I'm so glad. Look, there's another sign. What does it say?
Wait a minute. It's printed a bit smaller. Oh, S.S. Crocodile-esque.
What does that esk mean?
I expect it means to esk, S.S. Crocodile.
Oh, I guess he spells like me.
Have you still got the broken pieces of the Silver Star in your hanky, Jimmy?
Yep, safe and sound.
Well, you have Melissa's instructions, too. So I think I better carry your hanky for you.
All right. Here it is.
And now, shall we follow this little path? Seems to be as good as any. Maybe this crocodile person can give us some idea as to where it is totally dark in the Wishing Woods.
We might at that.
Cinnamon Bear, did you look in that box that the Grand Monkey gave you when we left the palace?
No, why?
I was just awful curious, that's all.
Well, there's no special orders about opening this, so here it goes.
Oh.
But bless my stuffing cinnamon buns.
Let me see. Oh, Jimmy, peanut butter sandwiches and apple pie?
And lollipops, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, boy. This is swell.
Oh, here's a note. My dear friends, I hope you will enjoy your picnic lunch in the Wishing Woods. When you have finished, tie up the box again, and the next time you are hungry, open it, and you will find another lunch. Love, Melissa.
Gee, Melissa sure's a peach, all right.
Well, far be it from me to call our gracious ruler by such a name, but she surely is kind and thoughtful.
Yummy. Such cinnamon buns. Just full of currants, too.
My, I didn't know I was hungry, but I certainly was.
Delicious. I'll tie up the box just like she said.
Well, shall we be moving? Oh, I say, look ahead, down the path a bit.
My goodness, it's a bathtub.
Yeah, and it's a big white one just like we have at home.
What a strange place for a bathtub.
What's that funny noise?
It's coming from the bathtub.
Why, so it is. There must be something in it.
Oh, bless my stuffing, it's a crocodile.
It must be the one on the sign. S.S. Crocodile S.
Welcome to the Wishing Woods. Who am I? I can see it by the look in your eye. Why, I'm Snappersnick. Of course, I'm very pleased to meet you. By the way, who are you?
I'm Judy, what did you say your name was?
Snappersnick, little girl. And who are the rest of you?
I'm Jimmy.
Patio Cinnamon, the cinnamon bear.
I'm the Crazy Quilt Dragon.
Well. So kind of you to come all this way to see me.
Oh,
I'm very glad you came today. There hasn't been a single person, and I was beginning to feel quite lonesome.
Well, you see...
Of course, I'm very comfortable, with my bath, like my tub. Quite an acquisition it was, very. I got it when they redecorated the royal bath last spring. Genuine porcelain with chromium taps.
It's very nice, but
You say one can't spend all one's time in the bath. Ha-ha. That's because you've never thought of the bath in all its possibilities.
You are quite right,
Have
but...
you ever noticed the wonderful acoustics in a bathtub? Of course you haven't. Have you ever thought of a bathtub singing as a fine art? Again, you have not. But Snappersnick has. Oh, yes, indeed. That is why I have remained a hermit, as it were, in the midst of the wishing woods, perfecting my art until it can be heard in all its glory by the listening world. The first bathtub singer to be heard on the air. What a sensation! The bathtub baritone. Snappersnick, the crooning crocodile.
But we didn't.
But you didn't come to talk. You came to hear me sing. Isn't that right? Well, your wish is granted. I'll sing without delay.
I didn't come to see you.
Oh, you didn't? Why didn't you say so?
Sure, and you didn't give us a chance.
These young people are on a very important mission.
Oh, indeed. And where did you come from?
Just now, we came from the Queen of Maybeland.
Oh, dear, dear Melissa. And how is she? Always so kind to me. Melissa is so kind. Lovely girl, don't you think?
She's awful nice, all right. She's going to help us fix our silver star.
What silver star?
Ours. It belongs on top of our Christmas tree. First it got lost.
Lost? Oh, and don't I know how you must feel. Don't I know? Last spring, I lost my voice.
Congratulations.
What do you mean, congratulations? For days, I was petrified. And then my beautiful voice came back, twice as lovely as ever before. However, it's too bad you weren't here to notice the improvement. I'll demonstrate by singing my favorite number. That's why crocodiles were born, in the key of Q.
But we haven't time to listen. Besides, the star isn't lost anymore. We found it, and it got broken into a dozen pieces.
And Melissa gave us some wonderful instructions so we can get it all back together again.
But they aren't to be read except in total darkness.
Oh, most intriguing. May I take a squint?
Of course. They're right here in this envelope.
My, would you mind holding it a little closer? Broke my bifocals last week. Can't see worth anything.
There. You sure ought to be able to see now, Mr. Crocodile.
Ah, much better. Much better. Ha-ha.
Hey, don't do that.
Well, I never.
Our magic instructions. He swallowed them.
Well, there seems to be a regular epidemic of swallowing things, doesn't there? First, the wailing whale swallowed the silver star, then Crazy Quilt swallowed the whistle which Fifo the giant gave to Jimmy, and now Snappersnick, the crooning crocodile, has upped and swallowed Melissa's most valuable instructions. Looks mighty bad, all right, but let's be on hand next time and see what happens. It's time again for Judy and Jimmy, who, with their friends, the Cinnamon Bear and the Crazy Quilt Dragon, are having a pretty difficult time. After Queen Melissa of Maybeland gave them an envelope containing instructions for having their broken silver star put back together again, they set out for the Wishing Woods, because the instructions were written in magic ink and could only be read in total darkness. In the middle of the woods, they met Snappersnick, the crooning crocodile, who lived in a big white bathtub and sang. He was very, very much interested in the magic instructions and asked if he might take a look at the envelope. Jimmy obligingly held it up for Snappersnick to see, and clack, clack went the crocodile's jaws, and the instructions were gone.
A pretty kettle of kipper snacks this is, a pretty kettle.
Yeah. What do you mean by chewing up Melissa's important instructions, Snappersnick?
They were ever so valuable, and now we'll never know what they said, and we'll never be able to find out how our broken star can be mended.
My friends, don't carry on like this. Why,
A fine thing. I do believe you're the crudest crocodile I ever laid eyes on.
And just wait till I lay me cinnamon paws on him. I'll teach him a thing or two.
Splendid. Maybe you could teach me how to sing a low H flat, huh? I've never quite been able to swing it.
Well, if you didn't have such a big nose, I'd twist it. That's what I do.
Oh, dear. Do you suppose if we went back to Melissa, she'd give us some more instructions, Cinnamon Bear?
I'm afraid not, Judy. She'd probably think us very careless and unworthy.
Oh, come, my friends. Why so bleak? Don't be like that. Didn't you say you wanted to read the instructions?
Of course we did, you bad, bad crocodile. But how can we read them when you've got them inside you?
Didn't Melissa say those magic instructions could only be read in total darkness?
Sure, that's what she said, you big blunt-nosed bully.
But even if we did find some darkness like that, we wouldn't have anything to read in it now.
Aha! Did you ever stop to think that there's nothing more totally dark than the inside of a crocodile?
Goodness gracious me. That's certainly total darkness, all right. But you're not suggesting, my good fellow, that one of us climb in and read them, are you?
You bet he is. It's just a trick, Crazy Quilt. A low, deceiving, crocodilish trick.
All the dash, my fuzzy friend. I'm simply trying to be of assistance. That's why I grabbed Melissa's instructions and downed them.
But that doesn't help us any. Even if they are in a total darkness now, we can't read them.
No, but I can.
Don't be funny, my bathtub baritone. How can you read them when they're snug in your tummy?
Ha-ha! Just a bit of snappersnick service. But perhaps a little explanation is in line, huh? A little light on the subject?
You're daffy, just plain daffy.
Not at all. You see, I can't read a thing with my eyes. Not a word. Mother forgot to send me to school when I was a lad. Consequently, when I want to know something that's in print, the only thing I can do is swallow it, wait till it's digested, and then I know what it says.
You mean you just eat anything that's written, and you know what it is without looking at it?
Exactly. And a voracious reader I was in my day, too. Used to digest 3 or 4 mystery stories a day. Got them from a circulating library. But finally they took my card away because I never returned the books.
Oh, my goodness.
You seem to have too literary an appetite, I suppose.
Well, I couldn't return them, you see. Most annoying, too. Why, I haven't read any good books in ages. Have to content myself with old newspapers and magazines.
Then you can read Melissa's instructions.
Absolutely. Read anything I eat. In some ways, an advantage. I eat all my singing lessons, and the music, too. Incidentally, I have quite a repertoire of songs on tap. How would you like to hear me sing On the Road to Maybeland?
If you don't mind, we'd much rather hear you read those instructions.
Yes, please do, Mr. Snappersnick. How long does it take you to digest something so you could read it?
Well, that depends on what it is. Took me all last summer to digest half of Anthony Crocodile. Then I gave it up. Little too much of a meal, but these instructions are nothing. Should be digested by now.
Hurry up and read them, Snappersnick. We've got to get going.
Very well. Must close my eyes first so I can concentrate. There. Mm-hmm. Ah. My.
Tell us quick. What do they say?
Most interesting. Quote. Then Christopher Crocodile stared deep into Cynthia Crocodile's blue eyes and then... Oh, pardon me. Got mixed up with the short story I ate out of Crocodile Confessions this morning.
Oh, quit fiddling around and read the instructions, will you?
Right away. Now, here we are. Quote. The wishing well is where to go to find out what you want to know. Unquote.
Gee, that doesn't say how we can get the Silver Star put back together again.
It just tells us to go someplace. Are you sure you read them right, Mr. Snappersnick?
Positive. Right there in black and black.
If you'll remember, Judy, Melissa said it would take a little extra magic to fix the star. This just means we'll have to go to the wishing well for further instruction.
That's it. Do you know how to get to the wishing well, Snappersnick?
Not exactly. I never venture very far away from my blessed bathtub. But they tell me it's in that direction.
It is. Come on, everybody. Let's get started.
Yes, let's. Thanks so much, Mr. Snappersnick, for reading Melissa's instructions and everything.
Oh, glad to have been of some assistance. And sorry you can't stay to hear me sing a bit. Really remarkable voice, you know. May do a little opera next season.
And thanks again. Thanks again, Snappersnick, and goodbye.
Yes, goodbye, Snapper.
So long.
Ah, yes. Goodbye, my friends. Regret I can't walk away with you, but must practice my scales now.
Well, I guess everything has turned out for the best after all.
I guess it has, all right. But my goodness, who'd have thought of reading those instructions in a crocodile's tummy?
I was all ready to bust him one.
It certainly was as close to total darkness as you'd be able to find anywhere.